In the first game, Road to Hill 30, we had a lot of countryside environments and small towns. In Earned in Blood, what we are doing we are creating a lot more urban environments. And this creates a lot more intense gameplay. It's close combat.
Now, one of the hallmarks of the Brothers in Arms games are that you fight as a squad. I mean, you truly have to fight with your team. And if you want to win, you have to use proper tactics. Those simple tactics revolve around what we call the 4 Fs. You find them, you fix them, you flank them, and then you finish them. Now, people say, aren't the tactics different in an urban fight? Actually, they're not. The tactics remain the same, but the environment changes the distance. So the tactics you employ as a squad leader have to be well thought out. You have to move aggressively. You have to find the enemy first. If he finds you first, it's called an ambush, and that's a bad thing. You got to fix him with fire, as much fire as you can. You want to lay on as much fire on him so he can't move and he can't do anything but cringe and be suppressed behind some cover. And then you got to find a way to flank him. And our problem is in an urban environment is that there's many different ways to flank, but sometimes they're blocked. You don't have clairvoyance. You can't always see 2 blocks ahead. And if you go too far away, because it's such a close quarters fight, you're out of the fight, and then you might disadvantage your team. So the tactics became much more difficult to employ in the urban fight. So it's really a challenge, and we think you're going to like it a lot.
The tactics in urban environments and Earned in Blood we're definitely taking it to the next level. In the previous game, an enemy would be set up in a position, then the player could assess that situation and then just find the flank. It was basically like rinse and repeat. What best suits the situation is maybe finding out where the enemy is weaker in all these decisions he makes. So if, for example, I go left, the enemy goes left. Well, I'm going to try and put my squad on the right side and see what happens when he does this. Well, the enemy moves right. Well, let's try putting my next squad a little further right. Well, this time you notice the enemy doesn't move, so then you've found this weakness. But these urban environments, there's so much more cover everywhere. But now with these cities being destroyed, you'll be able to go through bombed out buildings and use those buildings as to make tactical decisions to get around enemies and make flanks.
You have buildings that have second stories, and you have places that you can move so that you can get observation on the enemy, you can find him, and then you can lay down a withering fire on him to fix him, while you have somebody flank him on the ground. Now, if you use this high ground properly, it can really be an advantage to you. The problem is that when you're in that high ground and you start to shoot at the enemy, they can also see you. So if you're not moving quickly and you don't have someone who's going to be flanking them and you just sit up there in a building, you can be a target and you can be easily taken out.